Hi, it's Born 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. And sometimes some commanders present a challenge to us as pirates. This commander, Commander South, the Selfish One, is one of those commanders who has said many times like, "Oh, I don't know why you haven't robbed me," ha ha ha, as he flies past us in a 4-point defense cutter, which is a bit of a nightmare to rob. They are a real pain in the butt to take down, especially 1v1. If you have a full wing of you and someone in a cutter, it gets easier, but this is a 4-point defense cutter. So, the commander is also the Selfish One, otherwise known as Captain Gaslighter, and yeah, he's an interesting character. I like him, he's kind of funny. We have a good time in party chat. I really enjoy chatting to him quite often and sharing wing missions with him. But once in a while you have to remind even your friends that you're a pirate. And so I set about trying to rob him, but it's, let's just say, very difficult to take this thing on. So we had to get creative. Now, I got Tanner13 Ghosts to message Selfish One and say, look, if you don't want to get chain interdicted all the way to the station, you can, give us a generous donation of cargo and get a 24-hour pass. But that didn't cut it, so I carried on chain interdicting him over and over and over again, trying each time, but his cutter is incredibly fast, which does make it quite a challenging target. It's got to be said, it's very, very difficult. In fact, in all of these interdictions, I only got the limpet to complete its cycle once, and the Selfish jumped out the moment it did that. Had I hit it with the second Grom Bomb, might have got some cargo out of him, but man, it's tough. It is rough trying to rob these ridiculously overpowered ships. Unless you, like I say, you bring a cutter along. If you bring a cutter in the instance, it gets easier, but Selfish is in and out, because he knows submit and then low wake immediately, submit, low wake immediately. And because we're not out to attack him or gank him, we're not going to get through those shields. We are just trying to alleviate him of some cargo. But Selfish is not the sort that is going to bow down to anyone, so he was definitely not interested in procuring himself a 24-hour pass, even though it would have definitely been less hassle for him. And he was getting kind of smug. In fact, after this series of chain interdictions, he joined a party, went a system away, came back in an empty ship, just to tangle with me long enough for the hatch breaker to work so he could laugh and mock a bit that he'd come in an empty ship. Then he went away, filled his cargo hold and came back. Now, the next time he came back, we were ready for him. We had a plan. He's obviously not willing to pay for us to stop bothering him. He's not willing to give us cargo, and honestly, I'd had enough of trying to interdict him and take out that cutter's defenses, because the 4-point defense is tough, the speed of his cutter's tough, he knows what he's doing as a pilot, that makes it quite difficult. Also, interdicting wasn't being kind, it was kind of giving him a nice separation gap each time I dropped in on him. Let me say, I managed to get the hatch breaker to complete its cycle once, and that was the closest I got, but Selfish did manage to jump out. Even though the hatch breaker completed its cycle, it just took too long to attach and it didn't quite get into place quick enough. And the one time, like I said, it completed, it didn't. No cargo was yielded. So all in all, a bit of a tough time, but we had a plan. There is always more than one way to pirate anybody in this game, and we do know all the different ways of achieving our objective. Now, while I was attacking Selfish One, I noticed he was pledged to Archon the Lane, and I'm pledged to Archon the Lane, the Pirate Lord. Now, the interesting thing about the Pirate Lord is everybody doesn't like him. See, look, our hatchbreaker completes, it even says siphon complete, and then he's gone. I didn't even get the 1 ton. I actually go back to look at the weight because I was wondering if it was a cargo I dropped, but no. Real shame. It was just, I needed to get another Grom Bomb to hit him, or the limpet to attach quicker. But hey ho, you win some, you lose some. I think I even ended up interdicting one of the NPC police in a minute, which is hilarious because I rushed to jump up and interdict SouthishtheOne, end up interdicting this guy instead, so that didn't go well for me. But when he came back later, he was in party chat with us, and we were chatting away, and as soon as he came back in the system, I started following him and pursuing him. Now, he was at this point getting quite smug because, you know, we'd so far failed to rob him, and you know, Southish is one of those people that will let you know when you failed at something. He's quite good at that, but like I say, lovely fella. So I was sat chasing him, and he pointed out there was a harmless commander nearby, so I went, oh, I'll rob that. And he was really surprised because, you know, he was expecting me to keep interdicting him, and I suddenly went off and robbed this other guy. And I got to say, I got a decent amount of cargo out of this other guy. I got 2 hatch breakers worth of 14 tons of cargo. Perfect, nice bit of piracy on the side. And that left SouthishtheOne bemusely heading towards the station, safe and smug in the knowledge that he'd beaten the pirates. I was happily off pirating someone else, leaving his car to safely get to the station. And I'll be honest, we got way more cargo out of this guy than we did out of the SouthishtheOne. You know, but, well, you'll see as this video progresses. You know, I managed to get some cargo out of this guy. He clearly isn't stopping. So it was hatch breakers away, and yeah, it was a good fun bit of piracy. But you know, the main goal is to try and pirate people, but sometimes people are quite difficult to pirate. Some people, you know what they're doing. Some people do avoid us, but we try our best. And in this case, it was a bit of sneakiness rather than brute force that won the day. So the SouthishtheOne's pledged to Archon Delane. Now Archon Delane is an enemy of Edmund Marn, whose station this is. So I asked Tanner if he'd happily switch allegiances to power play and sign up for the Alliance Guru. So when Southish dropped in, he could happily hatchbreaker him in the no-fire zone in the station, leaving poor old Commander Southish to get fined by the station for illegally dumping cargo, and leave us to pick up our ill-gotten gains. Perfect. You know, it might not have been the biggest amount of haul recovered, it might not have been the best bit of piracy in the world, but Southish got a surprise. We got 1 ton of cargo, and that's all we need. We had a nice exchange back and forth the next day, and as I explained to him, you know, we only need 1 ton of cargo for it to be victory as far as we're concerned. He thought that was really funny, especially me saying, like, you know, I'm glad he had a good customer service. Now, he gave Tanner only 1 out of 5 when I asked him for a rating, but I gave Tanner enough credit that I created his avatar, and now he's got an avatar, and also he got on the CG board for this. So GG, good bit of piracy, Tanner, well done.